Your second stimulus check will be coming quickly as a package agreement looms. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LALATE with really great news as the second stimulus package is about to be approved and your check is finally about to be issued. This is Afternoons LALATE. Thank you for joining me. Afternoons LALATE is every day at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, a 2-hour programming block that starts with a check, then goes to hazard pay 30 minutes later at 4 o'clock, FPUC at 4:30, and finally rent assistance. But we have really big news if you've been with this channel since last night. On Afternoons LALATE, I dropped the bombshell, and also in Evenings LALATE, there is a deal, and the deal will be announced no later than this Friday. Wow. I mean, I've been reporting this since last Friday, and we've had to wait, but a deal will be announced this coming Friday, and you're going to get your check shortly thereafter. So I'm going to go through how much you're going to get for your check, when you're going to receive your check, what you need to know, who's going to get the check, and everything that we're all so excited about. I'm not going to go over hazard pay and FPUC and rent assistance. That'll be in the next video, but I'll touch on some of the things that are of issue. First, the check. Boy, your second stimulus check is coming. So we do have agreement on the check. This channel first reported last Friday. The check is part of the second stimulus package. The other parts of the package is what's held up your check, as someone once said in the comments. My check's being held ransom. It has been held ransom. You're getting a check very soon. It's going to be one check, $1,200. This is really great news. The check is all sort of different than the first stimulus package. So I want you to ignore what happened with the first stimulus package because there's a lot of great new different details this time around. First, gone is that ridiculous rule that adult dependents, anyone 17 years of age or older, would not get a check. I mean, those people did not get a check under the first stimulus package because they were simply ineligible. That's gone. The great news is everyone's getting a check, whether you are a non-dependent, a dependent, an adult dependent, a minor dependent. Whether you're 1 year old, whether you're 100 years old, you're getting a stimulus check. You're getting a stimulus check. Additionally, if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, or Veterans benefits, I really appreciate you, and I'm going to have a personal message at the end of this video about my SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits viewers. I've been telling you you're going to get a check, and we're now coming out on the other end. Next, the amount of the check for the dependents. All indications suggest that it's going to track the Democratic plan of $1,200 for the dependents. Now, I'm not going to represent that it's absolutely etched in stone because you know the Republicans proposed $500, the Democrats proposed $1,200. But all indications suggest that it's going to track the Democratic plan of $1,200 for everyone. Next, there's not going to be multiple checks. This is just a check for now, but everyone's talking about another check in another package round in the fall if the pandemic continues and continues to be worse. And I'm not going anywhere, so I'm going to be here with you as well. What's going to happen over the next couple of weeks is I'm going to stay with you to ensure that you need to do what you have to do to get the check. And there is two groups of people who have to do something. So get out a pen and paper. Those are the following people. One, if you're on benefits, you do not file tax returns, you're not a dependent, but you have a child. Do you have to do something for that child to get a tax return, to get a stimulus check? Yes. For people who are on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or Railroad benefits and have a child, you have to file a non-filer so the IRS can send the check for that child. They don't know where the child is because you don't file taxes. You get benefits for yourself. They know where you are. You're getting your check, but how about your child? You have to file a non-filer. It's on the IRS. Next, if you are an individual who newly went on benefits this year and are not a dependent on someone else's tax return, you're just an individual, and you just started SSDI or SSI just this year, you didn't get the first stimulus check, you just went on benefits, you've never filed a tax return, clearly you are the next group of people that have to do something. The IRS doesn't know where you are. So you also have to do a non-filer filing. This is very, very important. If you don't do that, they're not going to know where you are. Next, this is usually not delineated. And I said two, I guess there's really three situations. This is not normally delineated, but a lot of people are asking me, I just had a 1-year-old child. I just had a 2-year-old child. How does that 2-year-old child get a stimulus check? There's not a lot of guidance from the IRS. How you tell the IRS, hi, I had a child, where's my child stimulus check? It appears that you would likely do a non-filer as well, because the IRS knows where you are, because you file tax returns. They know where your husband is, where he files tax returns. They know every family member that files tax returns or is on benefits, but they don't know about this newborn child, because it didn't appear on a tax return. Now, if the child appeared on your tax return as a dependent and he or she is now 2 years old, yes, they know where they are. So this is really great news. Next, when am I getting my money, LALATE? Okay, so now this is really important, and I'm going to slow this down. This is really important for you to know the date. We can literally open a calendar. I could do a screen share and I can open a calendar and we can mark the calendar together. But I'm going to explain it to you. First, what I'm about to tell you comes from the words of Steve Mnuchin. He is the Treasury Secretary to Donald Trump. A lot of you have, negative remarks about him because he said things and he's not held up to what he's claimed. But ultimately, it's his agency that sends the checks out. So he is the one who would know more than anyone about processing times, how long it takes, how they're going to be sent out. He's the one you would ask the question to. You would ask it to Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. They have nothing to do with the IRS. This is what he said 2 days ago. He said that the stimulus package, once it becomes law, the stimulus checks will arrive electronically. Well, he said the stimulus checks will be sent. It's different than arrive. Sent electronically within 7 days thereafter. Okay, so let me slow that down. First, we're talking about electronic recipients. So if you receive your SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or Railroad benefits by direct deposit, by debit card, or anything electronic, you are among my electronic viewers. You're not electronic. You're not a robot. You're just you are my electronic category of viewers. Next, if you are not on benefits, but you pay your taxes electronically, you get your refunds from the IRS electronically, you're also in that category. So what Steve Mnuchin is saying that is basically the minute the bill becomes law, count out 7 days from there for the IRS to send the payments electronically. Now, what I'm going to say to you is that most banks do processing, or if we're talking about banks, most banks do processing of electronic receipts within 24 hours to 3 days, and that's calendar days. So I would look at your calendar and say, if the bill passes on a Monday, count out 10 days until you get electronic receipt. I'm going to say that again. If the bill passes on a Monday, according to what Steve Mnuchin is saying, you count out 7 days and then add up to 3 days for processing time for banks. It could be the 8th day. You could literally receive it the 8th day. But some banks are a little bit slower on processing time. Same thing for debit card. Debit card might actually be faster. Debit card may actually be the 8th day. And so this is really great news. Now I got to explain to you the dynamic of a bill becoming law versus an agreement for the second stimulus package. And this is also really important. And this is where the haters jump in the comments. I don't care the backstory. Just tell me when I'm getting my check. Well, it's a little more complicated than that. Steve Mnuchin, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Mark Meadows are the negotiating bodies. And overnight, Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin confirmed that there will be a second stimulus agreement by this Friday. A lot of people ask me, they thought that I had said that only Steve Mnuchin said this. And they said, I don't really believe Steve Mnuchin. Well, no, Steve Mnuchin said that there's an agreement between him and Nancy Pelosi that despite all differences, despite all different odds, there will be a second stimulus package agreement on Friday between those four people. Now, that's an agreement for those four people. So then what happens next? Next, they say that their agreement will be presented to the Senate. It will be the HEROES Act. It will be the HEROES Act, which passed the House. It will be presented to the Senate, and basically it will be a revised version of the HEROES Act based upon their agreement. Then the Senate votes on it. It could take 1 day, it could take 2 days, but it's not going to take longer than that. And then the president signs into law. So what time frame are we looking at? We're looking at this generally, according to Steve Mnuchin's representation and Nancy Pelosi's endorsement, this becoming law by around Monday or Tuesday next week. That's their representation. So if it's Tuesday next week, you add 7 days, up to 10 days from Tuesday next week to receive your electronic funds. I'm literally giving you the day that you're getting your, that's how specific I am. I just like, here's LA, I'm like marking off the date on the calendar. It's like, okay, it's not Tuesday, it's not Wednesday. I'm literally telling you the day. So, that is based upon all these tracking informations that they're indicating. Next, if you're on paper check, you're going to be a little bit later. So I don't know how much later. It generally would be middle August for you, late August for you if you see stuff by paper check. So really great news. I mean, this is just incredible. Let me explain to you where we are, though. So now you know the amounts. Now you know the tracking time. Now you know what you have to do to ensure you get the check. Let me tell you what's going on. Basically, here's the fascinating backstory, and this is breaking news. I should have led with it, but it's some people don't want to hear the backstory. They just want to, get to they just want to hear when they're going to get a check and how much is a check. The backstory is really incredible. Basically, Mitch McConnell is now representing to press that the reason why this was so delayed was that he did not have consensus from Republicans on a second stimulus package. And that while he wanted to get this along and get this agreed upon, he said his party, namely the Senate, his Republicans in the Senate could not agree upon how to do this. And that ultimately he said, I can't have you continually bickering. I got to get this done. We got to get this done. It's ironic because in a strange sense, Mitch McConnell's now saying he's not to blame. That was the other people in the Senate to blame. And it also confirms what Chuck Schumer had been saying for weeks, that the Democrats were clearly on board with a proposal, the HEROES Act, and the Republicans couldn't get their act together. And so Mitch McConnell's literally saying minutes ago that the Republicans still can't agree. He said the following: it appears likely that Congress will have to approve a bill with largely Democratic votes because he sees that there's divisions about what to do among his Republican colleagues in the Senate. They literally can't agree upon it. So he said that he's prepared to support the deal the Democrats have proposed and the White House because there's problems with certain parts of it, but ultimately he can't resolve the divisions about what to do among other Republicans in the House. He says the bill has to be approved. Now, if you watch Mornings with LALATE, which is a big blockbuster today, Senator Corcoran, if I'm pronouncing his name right, out of Texas said, hey, you can't not get this bill passed by Friday. There's going to be chaos. And he's a Republican out of Texas. He said, we cannot go back to our home districts on Saturday and say, here we are, reelect me. I didn't pass a bill. He said it's political suicide. You literally can't do it, which I've been saying for weeks. What's ironic is that there have been concessions. And what have been the concessions? Well, apparently what's been holding up your check has been these other things in the bill. There's been disagreement about funding for schools, assistance for food, which a lot of viewers are dropping that in the comments. Food assistance, they've not got, that has been what's holding up the packages as a whole. Funding for state and local governments, which I've been detailing to you overnight. And the issue about rent and mortgage payments. There's a new twist on rent eviction, which I'm not very happy about. I'll be detailing that later today. You got to watch it because I'm not happy with that one. It's one of the few things that's not making me happy today. PPP concession also has been a real big twist. Apparently, when they introduced their two bills, the Republicans and the Democrats, The Democrats introduced a $3 trillion bill, the HEROES Act. There was nothing in there for PPP, a new round of PPP. The Republicans, in turn, allocated $190 billion to a new round of PPP. That apparently became one of the concessions the Democrats gave. They said, okay, we'll give you more PPP. You could do it again. Marco Rubio has apparently been arguing for this vehemently and has said, hey, I'll support the rest of the bill, including the stimulus check, if you give this round of PPP. You're beginning to see at some point small business layoffs again as companies run out of the PPP money. This is Rubio talking. There's a real thing that we're going to see, unfortunately, and it begins to trickle down across the rest of the economy, including the real estate sector, because they can't pay rent. So we have to act and we have to do something now. Now, I agree 100% with Marco Rubio. I got to tell you, I hate PPP. I've always said it. I would see more EIDL loans, more EIDL grants, but I agree 100% with you. I've told you on the last video every day on evenings LALATE, I've seen a big surge of people asking for a lot more loans because they see they need liquidity to get to next year. So ultimately what's happening is that your stimulus check is being held ransom, for all of a different word, by these other things that are needed to be worked out. And the good news is that basically what I've been reporting since last Friday is coming to fruition. Finally, a personal note. The personal note is the following. This video, particularly, was the video that really, this afternoon's LA, the one that's at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time about the check, was the video that really sort of took this channel and helped this channel take off. And I really want to thank you, the viewer. This video, as you saw from the title, has always been about SSDI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. A month ago, we saw that no one was answering your questions. No one was helping you. No one was there for you. And a lot of people had lost faith in the process because they had not gotten a first stimulus check, and we're not clear why they didn't get a first stimulus check. No one explained to them that you were, in some cases, adult dependents, and you didn't qualify for a first stimulus check. A lot of people were told or thought to believe that because you're on SSDI or SSI, you weren't valuable to America, and that you weren't desirable enough to get a stimulus check, that there was something negative about you that you shouldn't get a stimulus check. And I told you that was false. Everyone's valuable. I value you, and I want to thank you for helping bring this channel to where it is today. You know, it's in the spirit that no one helps one another anymore. And I had come out of EIDL, and no one was helping people on EIDL, and I saw no one was helping you. And the great thing about where we are today is you're getting a stimulus check. You're getting a stimulus check, and it had nothing to do whether you're on SSDI, SSI, or Social Security or railroad benefits. It had to do with being here in this country. And you deserved a check, and you're going to get a check, and I thank you for being a part of this family. So what's going to happen in the next couple of days and then weeks is I'm going to be here to ensure that you get your check. I'm going to track when the checks are being sent out, the day they're going out, how you're to receive them. I'm literally with you to the minute in which you get the funds. And then after you get the funds, we have all the other things that have to be resolved about. We still have issues about rent. We have issues about hazard pay. We have a lot of stuff we got to work on. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. So please like and subscribe. Please go to the front of this channel and hit the subscribe button. And then there's an alert button to the right because I want you to know every detail as it breaks. We were the first to tell you last week there was a deal. We were the first to tell you on Monday there was a deal. We told you you're getting a check, and now we are just hours away from the announcement of the deal and days away from the deal becoming law. It's really, really great news. Thank you. And as I've always said, stay motivated, stay positive, stay smiling, and as always, stay with LA for more.